Elvira's Haunted Hills is directed by Sam Irvin and is written and starring Cassandra Peterson as Elvira herself. Spooky hijinks abound when Elvira finds herself spending the night in a mysterious castle en route to 1851 Paris. If you saw my original review on my main channel, you know that I wasn't a big fan of this movie at the time. That was admittedly a few years ago. And during my rewatch of the two Elvira films from last year and this year's on this channel, I kind of came around to this one a little bit and possibly enjoying it just as much as the first Elvira film. Mainly due to the practical sets, the atmosphere, and the final act of the film being very enjoyable for me. But mostly it is the tone and atmosphere and the setting that it takes place in that just felt a lot more enjoyable this time around, and I was able to get into it. I was able to accept the more B-movie type of style it's going for. I understood some of the jokes a little bit more, and while not all of it still works for me, I found it to be a surprisingly fun time this time around, and honestly very much enjoying it just as much as the first Elvira. I think that they're fun B-movie comedy movies that blend well in the Halloween season and the atmosphere, and I would say that this one fits more in that tone much better than the first one, because the first one we are set in a very normal town and just everything that surrounds Elvira felt normal. Here we are in the old times, the 1800s, and that look and style immediately fits much better within a Halloween tone in terms of the sets and how it's all designed and how the characters act. It felt a lot more fun, a lot more unique, and I very much liked the direction that this film took with the character of Elvira and how the story proceeded. While admittedly is predictable, you could tell where it's gonna go if you've seen any movie ever, was still able to find a whole bunch of fun ideas to do with the character of Elvira, and to have her in a bunch of perverted hijinks and silly situations that fit very well within her character. I think the movie did a really good job at having the character of Elvira be established in this world and how it's supposed to be run in this castle with this very weird family that stopped somewhere in the middle of the road just to pick her up and take her to their castle. I think they were pretty fun characters, as well as they play very much the straight men to Elvira's wacky hijinks, and it sometimes works very well. But again, there are some dated effects here and there, though honestly this time around they did add to the charm a little bit when you think of it as a B movie and the actors are just having a whole bunch of fun. It still sometimes look a little too fake at times, and you could tell that they were kind of limited with the budget. But this time around I was able to appreciate it at least a little bit more and have a little bit more fun with a bunch of the wacky hijinks going on, especially in the final act, where it gets pretty crazy. The humor gets a lot better, a lot darker, which is what I like. I am a guy who has dark senses of humor, though I know when to scale back. The movie does the exact same. It scales back on some dark moments and knows when to just be silly, but is not afraid to dive into some dark humor as well when it wants to get a good laugh out of you. But the humor in the second act just did not really work for me. It just felt way too silly, way too juvenile, and sometimes they repeat the same jokes in one scene over and over again, and it gets tiring, and it's like, come on, we could do something a bit more creative here with the jokes. And I think the movie was just aimless in that second act. It didn't know what it wanted to do, and while it is setting up elements for what will happen later in the film, I still think that it was the most boring part of the film. And the side character next to Elvira, her supposed best friend, I guess. Never found her funny. She was annoying. She was the worst part of the film for me, easily. I never found her at all humorous in what she does. Nothing she says got a laugh out of me. I just thought she was dead weight and could have been cut out of the film, and the movie would have been much better for her. Give more time to Elvira, have her do a lot more humor, and if you're gonna have like a side character next to Elvira, you could have someone who is a little bit less juvenile and just play up some of the darker elements of Elvira's character and the sillier ones and balancing all that out. Just not have this character just be purely silly. Have a little bit of an edge to her like Elvira does. This one she just was way too silly for me and too childish. But all in all, this is still a pretty fun B-movie comedy that fits well into the Halloween season. If you're a fan of Elvira, I think you'll have a good time with this one. If you don't like the character at all, skip it. It's just more the same stuff that you will not like from her. So, for me, I found it to be a fun enough B-movie comedy. And for that, I'm going to give Elvira's Haunted Hills a B. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys next time.